Okay, here we are again in another heat wave, but we'll do it.
Sure
It's my understanding this is just 2 days, and this is August, and you know how August is. So, welcome to everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Winslow Township Board of Education's regular board meeting. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a notice dated January 5th, 2024. Adequate and electronic notice of this public meeting has been provided, specified in time, place, and manner in which the meeting is being conducted. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration office, the municipal building, the library, quadruple center, Acres, Elmtown, and the Winslow Township post offices. And this is our mission statement. The mission of the Winslow Township of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages students to strive for personal excellence, and assist them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Present.
Ms. Dredden,
Here.
Ms. Martin,
Present.
Ms. Nieves,
Present.
Ms. Peterson,
Present.
Mr. Shaw,
Present.
Mr. Thomas,
Present.
and Ms. Pitts.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can we stand the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2024 District Goals. Student achievement, continue to implement best practices for delivering instructions to students, utilizing all available and appropriate instructional models. This shall include: A, develop plans to increase the graduation rate. B, decrease chronic absenteeism. C, increase in benchmark scores in 4th grade ELA end of the year. D, accountability for all district staff and stakeholders. Number 2, increase parent-caregiver engagement in education. A, provide opportunities for two-way communication with district stakeholders. And B, implement the culture climate survey. Number 3, market our strengths and achievements to all stakeholders to increase capacity for greater parent-caregiver community support. A, work with the Communications Consortium. B, continue with our public relations marketing plan. C, continue to work with the various advisory committees in the district. And D, focus on refining our communication methods and messages to better market our district.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Moving now, board members. I'm at the top of page 2, awards and presentations. Dr. Cochise.
Madam President, we have no awards or presentations this evening.
Thank you. Correspondence, Ms. Boyle.
Madam President, we have none this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve the minutes from our Board of Education meeting, our regular meeting, which was held on Wednesday, August 14th, 2024, open session. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the regularly scheduled meeting on Wednesday, August 14th, 2024, open session.
Ready, second.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Dredden. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden. Yes. Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Abstain.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller. Moving now, board members, to our board committee reports. With the review report of our athletic committee.
Yes, Madam President, there is a brief report. A productive conversation was held with Mr. Askew and Mr. John Shaw, held by California meetings. We all discussed various achievements of upcoming events for the 2024 season. The focus of the discussion was on our significant accomplishment in the Atlantic region and the anticipation of the upcoming athletic events. Key points discussed was the 2024 Atlantic accomplishment. We highlighted our major achievements in the Atlantic region of 2024. This includes our leadership in various sporting events, our strategic growth in the athletic community. Girls feature track. A special announcement was made regarding the success of our girls track team. Notably, we have a 14-year-old standout athlete who's currently ranked as one of the top performers in the country. Third, Winslow football team, a question was raised during the discussion. And that question is, are you ready for some Winslow football? This is in reference to the highly anticipated return of our Winslow football team, which has secured the sectional championship twice in the last 3 years. The team will take the field on Friday at 5 p.m. against Mount Clair, and this is a great excitement surrounding this event. September 7th, Athletic Community Day. We outlined the schedule for upcoming Athletic Community Days on September 7th. We will feature a variety of sports, events including boys and girls soccer, girls volleyball, field hockey, tennis. That day will culminate with the football team facing off against Highland. We are expected and enthusiastic on the turnout in the vibrant community atmosphere. Noted, Highland has given some of our co-ed ex-employees opportunity, so that should be a good game. In conclusion, the conversation was insightful and set the stage for an exciting and successful season. Our achievements in 2024 have positioned us strongly in the Atlantic region, and with the support of key figures, committee members like Mr. Shaw and Askew, we are all prepared for the upcoming events. The excitement around our athletic community, particularly the return of the Winslow football team, is palatable, and we look forward to continued success. Please feel free to reach out if any further details are required. Meeting adjourned. Next meeting, September 24th, 2024, 2 o'clock.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Any comments, questions on Mr. Davis?
Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, Mr. Thomas report. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Moving now, Citizens Advisory Committee, will there be a report this month or?
There is no report at this time. However, our meeting is scheduled for Thursday, September 4th at 7 p.m. in the Administration Building.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Martin. Is there a report out of the Education Committee?
Yes, there
Okay.
is, Madam President. The Education Committee meeting was called to order at 4 p.m. Attendance, board members Rita Martin and Julie Peterson, Committee Chair. Administrative, Dr. Dorothy Quacomo, Assistant Superintendent, and Education Committee Liaison members. Discussion topics. A, summer school. Number of students invited was 396, 102 accepted, and 53 actually attended. Anticipated student enrollment data at this point is 4,900 plus. Staff development, the Teacher Training Academy number attending was 152 teachers. The new Early Childhood Education Center at the Shirley B. Foster Elementary School in Chislehurst. Woo-hoo! What an exciting day. Anticipated student enrollment, 105 students. Special learning environment features indoor play center, indoor reading garden, Lego gear and letter walls, sensory paths, water and sand centers, fenced outdoor recreational area. Ribbon cutting ceremony was held yesterday at 10 a.m. and wow, what a wonderful building. Kudos to all that did that. E, accessibility of the Gifted and Talent Program information for parents. Gifted and talented pupils, policy 2464, adopted on March 3rd, 2010, revised, adopted April 11th, 2017, revised and adopted on November 24, 2020, was discussed at the March 24 meeting, Educational Committee, and reported in the school board meeting minutes of March 24. The policy includes the following process. Middle school, Step 1, administrators review data points from multiple measures, including test scores, grades, and teacher recommendations from the upper elementary school. Step 2, students are placed in various courses based on multiple measures. High school identification process. The process by which students are evaluated and admitted to the high school gifted and talented program is as follows. Step 1, administrators review data points from multiple measures, including test scores, grades, and teacher recommendations from the upper elementary schools. Step 2, students are placed in the various courses based on multiple measures. The Education Committee will review the accessibility of the policy on district's website this summer. Next committee meeting is scheduled for 4 p.m. on Tuesday, September 17th via WebEx. Meeting adjourned at 5:10.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Board members, any comments or questions on the education report?
Madam President, I don't have a question, but I'd like to just point something out to the board members and the community. As a result of Mrs. Martin's report, she indicated that the school district provided a summer school. We invited 396 students to participate in our summer school. We received 102 acceptance letters, but only 53 students attended our summer school. That means 343 students did not come to get the additional services that we have available to them. And these are young people who we identified who was in need of the additional services. So again, I want to point that out because we continue to try to provide as much supplemental services to the young people based on their academic achievement, their growth. And a lot of our young people or the parents have not taken advantage of that program that we felt was very important for those young people. So I just wanted to point that out because it's very, very important.
Thank you, Dr. Poteet. That is important.
Very important.
Moving now, would there be a report out of the marketing committee?
Yes, the marketing committee met today at 6 p.m. here in the administration building. At 6 p.m., present were myself, Mr. Shaw, Mr. Askew, and Mr. Dion Davis from the administration. We recapped National Night Out and Family Day. We briefly discussed back to school night and board members' participation in back to school nights possibly. Just with the suggestion of attending your homeschool back to school night so that we have a presence there. Also discussed board members attending at least one HSA meeting at their respective homeschool, again, just to keep that board member community connection. We asked Mr. Davis for an update on our website, how that was going. We discussed the new on-course rollout for parents that replaced the Genesis. In my experience, it seems to have gone well. I didn't have any issues accessing it for my children. Another thing we discussed was possibly the board collaborating to put out our own quarterly newsletter depending on the capabilities of the new website. We also discussed having a district-wide calendar with all of our events throughout the school year that would be accessible to the community so they would see what was coming up in all of our schools. I did reach out to the contact I had at the Winslow Township for the newsletter. We had discussed possibly having an ad in the spring issue. So because we did not meet the deadline to do both fall and spring, we would be charged for just a single issue rate, which would be $525. It's a quarter of a page. So those dimensions are 7.5 inches high, 3.75 inches wide, so a quarter of a standard 8.5 by 11. We would need to submit our ad by February 4th with a March 25th mail date to township homes. We discussed the feasibility of what type of information we could put on a small space. And and Mr. Davis had the suggestion of, it needs to be our logo and a QR code. Would probably be the best use of space if we did decide to go that route, because at least with placing a QR code, we would have access to change what was on that QR code. For instance, maybe a link to the landing page of the district calendar, something along those lines, so we weren't boxed into, time deadlines. And then we also discussed the direction of the marketing meeting going forward, and once we flesh out our district goals for the next school year, we can further figure out how we can support the district goals, and the meeting adjourned at 6:35.
Thank you, Ms. Nieves. Board members, would there be any questions or comments? Ms. Nieves, I just have one question. What, with regards to the newsletter that we possibly would be contributing to the township newsletter, what was the figure, the dollar amount?
$525,
And that would be for what, a quarter page or
a quarter of a page.
quarter of a page? And you, just to repeat the deadline, if we decide to go forward with that, we would have to have whatever materials we have in to them by February?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted clarification on that. Board members, so if you can recall when we last talked about being a part of contributing to the township newsletter, we had a figure that was a bit higher than that. However, what I'm saying now, what I'm asking now is for comments and perhaps even to decide whether or not we're going to go forward with that at that price. Because this is at the end of August and February will be here very soon, and we need to certainly rely on our marketing committee to put together what we want to put in that news, the township newsletter. So what I'm asking here tonight is, can I get some comments or even a motion with regards to going forward with that amount?
Madam President, I can comment on that. I'm just being a fan of making sure that the community is informed of every aspect and every platform, not just social media, not just via television, but via magazine too. And these articles do go into every household in Winslow Township. And anytime we can get into anybody's household with our school district is considered engagement. And I would think this is an important part of engaging if we can get 100 people out of them 4,600 households to look at it and get some information out of it, I think it's well worth the money that it's doing that. And we can put things in there that we've already achieved and let the community know how great our school, what we have done, giving them updates on the school we just opened. So it's a place in the community that I think we should occupy.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Any other comments?
Madam President, I tend to agree with Mr. Thomas. I think this is for that price. It's an opportunity to get into all the households within Winslow. And we talked in the marketing committee meeting about using a QR code, which means that any information that we could put in there could be always updated and can be ongoing. So whatever information we decide can be tied into any of the landing pages on the website.
Thank you, Mr. Eskew. Any other comments?
Yes, Madam President, I agree with everything that's been said thus far, but I'm trying to visualize a quarter of a page and how much information can you really get into a quarter of a page. So I'm not sure exactly what information. We still have a lot of time between now and February, but we have to be, I think we need to really think about what we want to put in because it's not a lot of space.
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Fortin. Any other
With
comments?
with the
Mr.
QR
Shaw?
With the QR code, it allows you to take that minimized space and open that up with the information you want to direct it to. So by utilizing the QR code, you're opening up that quarter of a page to more. So you're actually taking that quarter of a page and giving yourself a lot more volume by redirecting it. So you can expand your informational usage to all those households that we have in Winslow, including the new residents that are going to come into the new housing that that's going into Winslow Township as well. So when Mr. Davis came up with the QR code idea, it actually made more sense because I really was on the fence about a quarter of a page, because you can't really do anything with a quarter of a page.
Okay, any other comment? Okay, board members, here's what I'm asking for. Would there be a motion at this time to approve the idea of going forward and the cost? Is there a motion?
Motion to accept the quarter page ad for the Winslow Township newsletter in the amount of $525, with the deadline being February and the issue being put out in March. With
Thank
the
you.
understanding that the quarter page would include a QR code.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I had a second down here. Who said it first?
You can give it to Mr. Trevor.
Give it to Ms. Brennan, okay. So the motion is on the floor, as you heard from, put forth by Ms. Martin and second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments on that? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to ask for a roll call.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden. Yes. Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes,
The motion has carried.
thank you. So therefore, Ms. Nieves, it seems that you have the green light to go forward on it. Moving now to the Operations Committee. Let's see if you report out of the Operations Committee.
Yes, it will, Madam President. Ms. Paul will be next.
Thank you, Ms. Dredden.
Madam President and Board of the Operations Committee met yesterday, 5:30, on Tuesday, August 27th, through WebEx. Ms. Dredden, Mr. Shaw, myself, and Ms. Chico were in attendance. We discussed the lagging, I'll just say 2021 project, the school 6 main office. The project is not closed out. Did speak to the architect, and he says he's waiting for the vendor just to give him one piece of information, which is the certificate of completion, or CO, from the township that the work has been inspected and is good. The second thing is we discussed a couple of capital projects which are moving along now, the circulation pumps at schools 1, 2, 3, 4, and the middle school. We did have a job meeting that day. The vendor is on track and ready to complete on time. One thing did surface, which are starters. We may have to replace some of them, so we're requesting prices. The second project is the middle school facade repairs and painting. That job meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. The good thing is the vendor's requesting a walkthrough, a substantial completion punch list walkthrough, which means they think they're done. We hope they're right. Not that we don't like them, we just want them to leave. Because everybody's coming back. But anyway, that project is, looks like it's on target as well. Some of the things that we did this summer is at school 5, we repaired, repainted, recoated the gym floor, which had been damaged by water. And we are ordered new exterior doors for that gym to prevent the water from coming in. We replaced flooring in the main office suite at school 5 and repainted all 3 stairwells. At school 4, they abated and replaced VCT in 2 classrooms. At the middle school, we replaced the carpet in the library. School 1, they abated and replaced VCT in the main office. Gym floors were recoated at schools 4, 6, middle, and high, and this is in addition to school 5. And at the high school, we have planned the replacement of lockers in the visitor locker room. Those materials have been ordered when they come in. We'll get that project taken care of. As was discussed earlier, we had the ribbon cutting at the Winslow Child Development Center at the Shirley Foster School. A lot of effort and time went into that project. And Dr. Carpenter, I just had to call her and tell her, you know, nice job. That was pretty. It was a nice and well-supported project. Moving on to 4, we're going back to revisit some projects that we have in the wings. high school HVAC upgrade plan is gonna complete that project. We're gonna manage it, the bid spec, and get on to the Office of the State Comptroller. The school 6 HVAC, the grant agreement's executed, we just have to have the vendor design the plan and get that out to bid. And school 5 upgrade for HVAC. I've had discussions with EI and the new architect of record, and they have been out and looked at it. They dance a little differently than we do. Because I'm like, give me the records. Oh, well, we don't want to give you the whole price. We want, no. So it's just a matter of, learning how to chop together
I see.
or whatever. But it's been very positive. They have been out here, they've looked at a couple of our sites, and it's very confident. We have also been engaged in, and I'll say mainly the Chico, the closeout of the 23-24 fiscal year budget. We received TPAF final percentages, which is the teacher pension and annuity fund. That was the last document or information we needed in order to finalize the closeout. So we did supply draft financials in August, we'll get to the finals in September. And then we reviewed, the ARPS funds. We're nearing the end of that project period. And so we're getting all those numbers together, making sure, as the county calls it, no dollar left behind. So they want to make sure we spend all of the funds. If you don't, you have to give it back. We don't want you don't get anything back. We don't even want them to ask for anything back. And then we just briefly review some of the projects that we have this year. We just have to get them out of the gate. And then the meeting adjourned at 5:53, and the next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 24th, 2024.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Board members, any comments, any questions on that report? Thank you. Moving now to the policy report. The policy committee met August 22nd, 2024, virtually. Present at that policy committee meeting was board members, Mr. John Shaw, Mr. Anthony Askew, Ms. Rita Martin, and myself, Cheryl Pitts. Administrator in attendance, Mr. Dion Davis, Director of Human Resources. And if you will note, especially on page 3, you will see also a list of the policies that we discussed, which were policy 0141, which spoke to board member numbers, and term, which was revised. As we all know, our board consists of 9 members, and each member has a 3-year term. Policy number 0141.2 spoke to board member number and term of a receiving district. Then we moved to regulation 2200, which spoke to, and it's a mandated regulation of curriculum content. Then next policy and regulation number 3160, which spoke to the physical examinations and the specifics for teaching staff. That particular policy has been revised. Next policy and regulation number 4160, also physical examination. That particular policy spoke to support staff. That was revised. Then policy 5350, student suicide prevention. We discussed policy 9181, volunteer athletic coaches and co-curricular activity and advisors and assistants. And we moved then to policy number 0164.6, which spoke to remote public board meetings during the declared emergency. That particular policy was abolished. And the second policy, policy number 7321, which spoke to gifts from vendors, that has also been abolished. The meeting concluded about 4:40. The next policy committee will take place on September 26, 2024. It will be virtual and at 4 p.m. That concludes the committee meeting on policy. Any questions, comments on those policies? We do have them in front of us. Thank you, board members. Moving now, I'm at the top of page 3. I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report as it begins at the top of page 3 and continues through to the bottom of page 7. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the superintendent's report that begins on page 3, letter A, and goes through to page 7. B, principals update.
Ready, second.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments or questions? No. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden? Yes. Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Neander?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson? Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Mr. Boyle. Moving now, board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the Business Administrative Board Secretary's report as it appears on page 8 and continues through to the bottom of page 12. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the business administrator board secretary's report that begins on page 8, letter A, and continues through to page 12.
Ready, second.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden? Yes. Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Neander?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Moving board members, I'm at the top of page 13. I'm asking for a motion to approve the personnel report as it begins at the top of page 3 and continues through to the bottom of page 15. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the personnel report that begins on page 13, letter A, goes through to page 15.
Ready, second.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden? Yes. Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Neander?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. At this time, board members, I draw your attention to our addendum. And at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the superintendent's report as it appears on our addendum, letter A, on page 1. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the superintendent's report, letter A, page 1.
Ready, second.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden? Yes. Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Neander?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller. Moving now, board members. I'm looking at the board secretary's report, asking for a motion to approve that report as it begins at the middle of page 1 and then continues through to the top of page 4. Is there a motion?
Motion to accept the board secretary's report that begins at the bottom of page 1 and continues through to the top of page 4.
Ready, second.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments or questions? I have one brief question with regards to that on page 2, the press for proposals for the behaviors consultation services. Ms. Bull, are these all of the vendors who applied? Is that how this created?
Number 4, Madam President?
Yes.
Okay, yes, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're listed across the top.
Right.
So there were 5 vendors. They gave us various pricing. And then since it's an RFP, it is evaluated. So there was a team that evaluated it, all of the proposals that came in. And they selected First Children Learning Services LLC, which will be the third one in.
And the amount that they charge $100 an hour?
Yes.
But again, with an RFP, it's an evaluation of several factors and cost is just one of several.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Do we have a consultant already in place? And if so, who was it that was already in place?
First children,
First one.
these are the ones that did it this past year.
Okay.
These are the ones maybe 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Hearing, no further comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Redmond. Yes. Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Neandis,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller. Moving now, board members, I'm on page 4. I'm asking for a motion to approve the personnel report as it appears on our addendum beginning on page 4, and it goes through to the bottom of page 5. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the personnel report that begins on the middle of page 4 and completes itself on page 5.
Shred second.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Redmond. Yes. Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Neandis,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller. Board members, returning to our agenda I'm on page 18.
Madam President, before we proceed, may I interject?
Yes.
As we normally do, when we hire a new administrator, we ask them to be present at a school board meeting.
Yeah.
Ms. Gibson is here tonight. Ms. Gibson is the new assistant principal at the high school. Just for those of you who may not know, Ms. Gibson is a graduate of Edgewood High School.
Very good.
Ms. Gibson, after college, came back to Winslow. She's been teaching at Winslow Township High School ever since. And
25 years.
we are glad to have her.
Thank you.
And we know she'll do a phenomenal job.
And she still looks like a college student.
Yes, I was gonna
Thank you
say.
so much.
That's because we treat her right.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Congratulations.
Moving now, board members, Open Public Records Act, Ms. Boyle.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Madam President, between the period of August 9th and August 22nd, we responded to 2 open public records acts, one from Jeffrey Stark from Cape Harton Scattered, and he was requesting information pertaining to our October 23 and February 2024 billings for our water. They wanted it for 3 sites, the high school, the middle school, and school 1. When we responded that school 1 was well, they asked us to provide it for school 2, and we said, okay. It's in, according to the request, they're trying to determine water usage throughout schools for another client. So it's just
Oh,
informational.
Okay, all right, that answers my question.
Right, and that's why they wanted the total occupancy, including student staff, so they're gonna do some comparatives.
Okay,
And then the second one was from Deltec, and they wanted an electronic copy of the specifications and any other documents pertaining to the lease for GPS system, tracking and management services, which was bid 2025-02. And that information was provided.
thank you, Ms. Boyle. Moving on, board members, we're at the point where we are moving to our informational items. Dr. Poteet?
Yes, Madam President, members of the Board of Community, I have a few information items. We're excited about the opening of the new school year. But I am reminded of the numerous conversations that I had with parents during the course of last year, particularly at the end of last year and into the summer months. So most of our conversations were about safety. And as a result, I submitted a letter, as I normally do, welcome students back to school, but I specifically pointed out about safety and the student code of conduct for this year Not that it hasn't been enforced in previous years, but we're going to strictly enforce the student code of conduct this year because I wanted to make sure that the parents who have been asking questions about safety, they expect their children to be in a safe school environment. The students and staff expect a safe school environment. So I just want to say tonight that we are going to work with our parents during the course of this year in dealing with safety. But I assured those parents during my conversations that the fighting, the assaults, the bullies, those individuals walking the halls, not going to class, in the bathrooms, doing everything that they shouldn't be doing, those young people who are just constantly disruptive, disrespectful, refuse to go to class, we're not going to tolerate it this year. I think we owe it to the parents and the overwhelming majority of the young people who come to school to do the right thing. That small percentage of young people who constantly keep things in disarray and are disrupting the instruction, we're going to deal with them. We're going to deal with them according to our student code of conduct. And as I had my superintendent meetings with young people and parents toward the end of the school year, I asked the young people the same question. Why do you come to school? And the parents, why do you send your child to school? And if you're not coming to school to learn, then these young people are going to have to make a decision, and unfortunately, we're going to assist them in making that decision. We're going to, as I said, continue to work with our young people. But ladies and gentlemen, if young people do not come to school to learn, then they need not be there. And we will take the necessary steps to address those young people accordingly, but we must maintain safety in our schools. Our schools must be safe for our students and our staff. And I promise those parents, and I'm promising all of the parents of this community, we are going to have safe schools in this district. And for those young people who do not want to conform to the rules and regulations, the student code of conduct will be dealt with accordingly. And if that means they continue their education at home, if it means submitting names to the board for expulsion or whatever it may be, we're going to take those steps. However, everyone starts anew come September 3rd. We start anew. We don't carry over any type of disciplinary records or anything of that sort. But I've said to the principals, and I'm serious, and I'm going to hold them accountable for the safety of their buildings. You need to enforce the student code of conduct. Your teachers need to be prepared to teach, have lesson plans ready, keep young people on task. I've asked to have parental support over the years. This year, Mrs. Pitts, members of the board, members of the community, we need to step it up a notch. We truly need to. And we need to, again, and I know I've been redundant, but I want to emphasize again and again and again, safety is first and foremost. All right? Another issue I just want to address briefly is the chronic absenteeism that we are dealing with. Again, we will be in constant communication with our parents. However, by law, any student who does not come to school for 20 consecutive days, by law, they have to be removed from our rolls. We cannot, and the state does not allow you to keep ghost students on your roll, quote unquote, to pad your attendance. So after 20 consecutive days, those young people will be removed. And if the parents want to re-enroll them, they will have to come through the enrollment process all over again, meet with the building principals, address some of those issues. In addition to that, we have young people who do come to school off and on, but not regularly, who contribute to the chronic absenteeism. This year, once those young people reach 20 days of absence, after they've received their 5-day letter, their 10-day letter, their 15-day letters, after 20 days, we are going to recommend those young people to diapers. It's not diapers anymore, Department of Children and Families. We've tried everything to deal with this, but the parents have an obligation through compulsory attendance that these young people should be in school. So we're going to take it another step further. Again, we're going to be working with our parents. But if a person is out for 20 days and we do not have any communication from the parents, we do not have any medical records, no type of medical notes from doctors or anything of that sort, then we have no other choice but to make that recommendation. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been dealing with young people who have 40, 50, 60, 70 days absent from school on a regular basis. And again, that contributes to our graduation rate, it contributes to our passing rate, it contributes to our test score success. There is a strong correlation with attendance and achievement. So we need to start doing some things here to address the concerns that we know we have, and we are going to take the steps that we feel are necessary to address them. Again, working with the parents through the process, hopefully we can get the cooperation from them and make some differences in what we're trying to do on behalf of our young people. And lastly, no, not lastly, I'm sorry, I have two more. School 4, and I know we've already approved back to school night. I spoke to Mrs. Kelly, and School 4 back to school night has been changed from September the 12th to September the 9th. Now, of course, she'll be making those changes beforehand. Information will go out to the parents, but I just want to make sure that I announce it here tonight, and she'll be making contact with her parents in the school, letting them know that that back to school night has been changed. Now, lastly, and I know it has already been mentioned about a ribbon cutting ceremony yesterday, I just want to take this opportunity to thank some of the other people who really go unnoticed for the work that needs to be done in many of the circumstances. And right now, I want to thank Ms. Sandy Pinnock and the building and grounds crew, not only with all the other things they have to do. If you go into our buildings, you'll see that they are clean, well-maintained as they always have, but the work that needed to be done to get our early childhood education program up and running in a very short window of time. People had to be over there every day into the night in order to make it happen. So Ms. Pinnock, on behalf of the administration board, I want to thank you and your crew, all of the maintenance and grounds people have done a phenomenal job. In other words, I just want to thank you. And of course, Mrs. Pitts, I would be remiss if I didn't thank all of the individuals who came out from Chislehurst and from Winslow. We had a great turnout, and that's what community and education is all about. Wasn't that great to have so many parents and children? It's amazing what we can do when you work together. And I'm hoping we'll be able to do the same kinds of things this year within our community in addressing some of these concerns. It will be a community approach. We're going to do everything we can do to make this not only a safe but a vibrant community and a vibrant educational system and working together. So I just want to personally and publicly thank everyone who came out yesterday to help us celebrate that new program. That concludes my information items for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Poteet. Any comments, board members, any questions?
I just had one thing that I wanted to clarify, Dr. Poteet. In reference to those 20 absences, we're talking about unexcused absences.
Unexcused, yes.
Okay.
And Mrs. Neves also mentioned that if they don't have doctors, so usually young people who are out excused, their parents provide us with a letter a note of some sort, because we know you can't get a doctor's appointment in 2 days. It's almost impossible. But send us a note, letting us know that your child had a certain illness. Those are acceptable. But long-term illnesses, of course, then you need your doctor's notes. But what we're dealing with and what we're going to address, those young people who accumulate 20, 30, 40 days, parents aren't communicating with us. We don't hear from them after numerous attempts, numerous letters, and the youngsters, of course, is still part of our educational school system, but by law, they should be in school. And we need to make sure that the families are going to be accountable for these young people to come to school. All right? Did that answer your question, Mrs. Evans?
Yes, and just to clarify also, 4 latenesses are also one
At-
absence.
At the high school, 4 latencies is equivalent to 1 absence. All of these has not changed. The rules, regulations, policies, procedures, as it pertains to the high school, middle school, and all of our schools are in the handbook. There has not been any changes at all. Of course, you know, we changed our cell phone policy last year, so that goes into effect. That's why I didn't address it tonight, but everything's in place. And for those parents who've been in this community over the years, this isn't anything new. It's just a matter of us and me telling the building principals to communicate to the teachers. We need to set it up. We need to hold everyone accountable. We need to make sure that our schools are safe. And that's the bottom line. We need to make sure our schools are safe. Thank you.
Moving now, board members, we're still on the old business.
Madam President, I do have something I want to say in old business.
Yes, Mr. Thomas, yes.
Just, I got 3 things I want to say. One's a caveat. I sit on some other committees within the township, one of the Economic Development Council Committee, and I pointed out to them that the #1 employer, like I sit on the Economic Development Planning Commission, and I sent out a letter to them as well. The #1 employer in the country is public schools. So anytime you have a community that's open in the schools, it's definitely a plus. A lot of things is a spinoff from schools opening in the community. That's #1. #2, I'm asking that the board allow me to get a copy or a schedule for our Studio 106 digital media program of what events they're going to be doing this year. I know they did a lot of football games and stuff last year, but I like to market. I like to let the community know about what events will be televised, where they can see it, so we can engage in that platform as well with our events that are having, that they're going to be at and they're going to be televised. Just so we can get a preliminary schedule. I know that's not in its entirety, but just a preliminary schedule of what they'll be doing this year so we can tie into that. Also,
Mr. Thomas, let me just deal with that. So, Dr. Potier, is that a possibility? Can it-
I will speak with Mr. Ingram, the teacher for our TV production program, and to find out whether or not he can provide us with a schedule of televised programs or activities during the course of the year. I'm quite sure he can provide us with something, yes.
Mr. Thomas?
yeah, that's perfect. I mean, like I said, that's what he can. And #2, as I sent to the board, as you all well know, we are planning a Hall of Fame, which we understand that the school is not sponsored, but we are looking for some type of collaboration with it. It is also non-tax deductible. It goes towards the Winslow Booster Club, where we have 12 inductees that we're going to be inductees. And I was wondering if we could put a little something up on our website. I got some footage here that we could just put up on our website, so if people are looking to come and they can know about it, and we can fall right in line with not just student achievement, but student achievement for the past and the present. We got a new Edgewood personnel here. I'm sure she can feel proud about that, because we're trying to bring Edgewood back in the fold. Just to post that up on the website if possible.
And, sorry. So, Mr. Thomas, for that, of course, I'm sure you're going to have, what is it exactly that you want?
Just to post that on the website.
Okay, now,
That
for this
is-
event, will there be a program booklet?
It will be a program booklet. It's going to be every day. We're in meetings every other week. to really formulate this. And as I get information, I will simply disseminate information. As you well know, I'm a platform social media geek. So the questions are coming, the responses are coming. We do feel as though this will be a go-to an event.
And so the date for that event?
The date for that event is October the 25th on a Friday at 6:30. We play Cherokee the next day here at 26. So we're trying to make that a Winslow winning weekend for the community, and we just want to make sure that, we're involving everybody, giving everybody an opportunity to be a part of the successful event.
Okay, certainly, one way that, us as the board could do that, you take that out.
That would be wonderful. Once again, like you said, we're really, we are doing some fundraising to try to make sure that we get the appropriate things and make this not just an event for the district, but an event for the township to come celebrate our achievements within the district. So any support that we can have with that, and any marketing or capability that we can have, and we think I think we'll be maybe 11-0 by that day.
Okay.
So and our number one contender will be the next day. So it'll be a nice pep rally for us to really put this in motion. Thanks.
Mr. Thomas, may I ask just a couple questions?
Sure.
Can I call you about this?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. You can.
Okay. Did you call me about this? This is not a problem, but
Okay.
I just want to call you about this.
Okay.
And members of the board, I know the last meeting you stated that we would support this activity because it does include Winslow, is with all of our students anyway. I'm expecting at some point a use of facilities document, because we will be in the building that Saturday for the Wall of Fame and those inductees. So just so that we cover all bases, we need to have a use of facilities, because we will have people coming in and out of our building.
So that comes from.
Well, if Mr. Thomas is going to spearhead it, I said to be corrected. Mrs. Bull said that's already been taken care of. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. We're good. Thank you, Ms. Bull. So we good, because I just wanted to make sure all the bases are covered. Because the building will be open, I want to make sure everybody's going to be able to move freely back and forth, and our insurance and all the liabilities are taken care of. Mr. Bull says that's been done, so Mr. Thomas, we good to go?
Thank you, sir.
Is that Mr. Thomas? Any further moving along now with regards to old business and new business? I just wanted to also mention that this past Family Day that was held Saturday was also a great township event, and certainly the board did participate. We had a table there. We had a raffle. We raffled off 12 very fully packed backpacks, and I just want to say and thank the board members for giving up the time for that day. It was Mr. Thomas, Ms. Peterson, Ms. Martin, Ms. Dredden, and Mr. Askew. And so it was a full day. And also, I would just like to end by saying, there were 7, we did have a raffle, but there were 7 people who did not come forward, perhaps maybe because they had left. And I'm just going to also give this list to Ms. Boyle, but I just want to call off their names tonight in case anyone here may be familiar with them. The 7 people who won, our fully packed bags were Mr. Thiago Rhoda, Michael Jimenez, Brenda, ? And Kim Maddox, and Amar, ? Denisha B, and a C Mills. And I will give that information over to Ms. Boyle. But if anyone knows any of those individuals, because I will be calling them based on the telephone number and the information that they left on their ticket. So I just wanted to put that out there. And lastly, I just wanted to get the board's permission. The board knows that certainly we do have, each county does have a school board association. However, with Camden County and Gloucester County works together, and they do have quarterly meetings. It's usually held at Adelphia. However, I've been contacted by New Jersey School Board Association, and we all are familiar with Naja Hatkins. And what Naja has done is she has asked if indeed we, Winslow, could host the county school board association meeting. Right here, just as you said, Mr. Thomas, stepping up.
Let's keep the ball rolling.
And so, as I said, they have quarterly meetings, and she is asking if indeed she could hold that Gloucester County, Camden County meeting, which is put out to all school board members in those two counties for December 3rd. She would like to know if indeed we would be willing to host that meeting at December 3rd. And the particulars, I will, as soon as I hear exactly how you feel about it, then I can get back to her because it's usually set up in a dinner fashion. She has said in her email that she would want to work with our Sodexo. So board members, I need to know, are we willing to host the Gloucester Camden County School Board Association's quarterly meeting?
Madam President,
Ms. Martin?
yes.
And can we get that in motion?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion for the Camden County / Gloucester County meeting be held at Winslow Township School District on December 3rd.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Dredden. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you, board members. I'll be contacting Ms. Nadia Haskins tomorrow. Any other old business and
Yes,
other new
Madam
business?
President.
Ms. Peterson?
I apologize for not being here last meeting. I wanted to know the status of Coach Shaniqua Brown's banner that we had indicated we wanted to have up upon opening of school.
And so, and I believe we had indicated that, because you do that very well, that we would look to you to design that banner and provide that banner for us, or would you want the administration? You
Just
do
to
banner-
ensure that we had the correct spelling and everything else,
Mhm.
and it was South Jersey, Southern New Jersey. Coach,
Well,
if I can get that information, yes,
you would do the banner,
yes.
okay? Board members, how do we feel? Are we okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Ms. Peterson, is that all you need?
All the information I can design
Oh,
and print it.
okay.
And we will present that at the whatever board member follows. Once that's completed, we will present that to let her and her family know that that we will be honoring her with that banner.
If I can get the information tomorrow, you will have it within a couple of days.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Any other old business, new business board members?
New business.
All right, Ms. Peterson?
I noticed, and I just wanted to ask Dr. Potee, was there someone videotaping yesterday at the opening?
Yes, we had a professional organization.
Is that gonna be uploaded to our website?
The gentleman told us within 10 to 11 days, he could provide us with the video. That was our intention
Thank you.
on posting that information on our website.
Thank you. It was a wonderful experience. So, thank you.
So once we get everything back, we'll take care of it.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Boutique. Moving on, Mr. Long?
Thank you, Madam President. Public comment. The Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of citizens in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We believe in the rights of citizens to observe board meetings. To ensure that all of our citizens have an opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct important business of the district, we ask that the speakers follow the following guidelines for making public comment. The board secretary will recognize those individuals in the audience wishing to make comment. We'd ask that you respect the following procedures. 1, all members of the public attending school board meetings must treat each other and the board with respect. 2, please state your name and your town of residence. 3, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. 4, submit your questions in the event we can't answer them this evening to the board with your name, address, and telephone number where you can be contacted, and your question will indeed be answered within a reasonable time frame. And lastly, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, board member, or other testifier or member of the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve our entering into public comment.
Motion to enter into public comment.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Dredden. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you, Ms. Boyle.
Madam President, we have nobody that signed up on the list. I don't have my glasses on.
There's no one on the WebEx.
And nobody on the WebEx. I do see somebody familiar waving in the audience.
I don't see anybody. Where?
Would you like to sign in?
Yes.
Since you know the procedures.
No comment, no comment. No comment, no comment.
Distraction coming in after the 7 o'clock hour.
Clock started a minute ago.
Ms. McClendon?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can I get some back?
It's an on and off button right on top there, see? Just speak.
30 seconds left.
Nothing's happening. Hello? Hello? Hello?
It's working.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure anybody that's watching at home can hear me as well. Abina McClendon, 60 Penfield, Sicklerville, New Jersey. So I'm standing before you. First, I want to say on behalf of the Winslow Township Special Events Committee, again, thank you for the school board for participating in Winslow Family Day. We really appreciate having you out there. Secondly, I want to bring to your attention, in which Dr. Bote, you and I have discussed it a little, but I do have more detailed information, and I'll make sure you have this as well. So back earlier this year, back in January, our Governor Murphy and our Lieutenant Governor Wall, as well in partnership with the Department of Education, to write a legislation for bipartisan civic engagement among our students. So you know this coming year is our coming general election that's coming up. So this legislation, which is legislation S as in Sam 2304, A1271, allows public school students grades 6 through 12 to have one excused absence per year for a civic event. The event has to be sponsored by a government entity, a community-based organization, or a nonprofit. So they do allow students from grades 6 through 12. One of the things that I'm looking at implementing, and I'm working with Dr. Pote on that, is getting our 17 and 18-year-olds, they are eligible now to work at the polls. So we all know that 17-year-olds can register, but they can't vote until they turn 18. One of the things we're looking at now, because it's such a big election, is to engage our young people more into it. And so our governor has proposed this and has written it into a legislation for this particular reason. It started back in the primaries. Back in June, they were pushing the voter registration week back in May. All week long, they wanted to encourage community organizations, residents to push voter registration for the primaries. Well, now, guess what? The general election is on its way. And so we want to be able to speak and talk with our young people, especially our high schoolers 17 and 18, because they are eligible to work at the polls. If you're 17, you can only work half a day, but if you're 18, you can work a full day. And again, it is allotted an excused absence, one per year, for a civic engagement. So I wanted to bring that before the board because we're hoping to get some of our 17 and 18-year-olds from the high school signed up to work at the polls. Hoping to work in conjunction with our Camden County Board of Elections
to work on that and kind of partner with the district to be able to come in, share this with, and also sign young people who are interested. Training will be provided as well, but we're working out the details. But again, I want to stand before the board to make everyone aware of it, plus to share what the legislation number is. So again, it's S as in Sam, 2304, A as in Apple, 1271. Dr.
Mr.
Posey,
Clinton,
I
can
will
you
be
just
calling
repeat that
you.
again, please?
Yes, S as in Sam,
Mm-hmm.
2304 / A as in Apple, 1271.
Now, this is proposed, has it been?
Oh, this is already,
It's
has
already-
been added. It's effective, January the 16th,
Oh,
24.
I have that.
So it is already
The S
in
would
effect.
be, the S would be the Senate bill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
The A would be the Assembly bill.
Yep.
And out of, if you track the legislation, you will come to a conclusion of what was ultimately approved.
Right. So this was put in place with the Department of Education as a partnership to increase civil engagement among our young audience, meaning our students.
So, Ms. McClendon, you'll be pleased to know that Mr. Davis just advised me that at our September policy committee meeting, that is what we will be discussing and recommending.
Attendance policy is on the slate.
Perfect.
Okay?
Perfect. Any other questions?
You forgot to mention that, the young people will be paid.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a
Yeah.
payment. So that's one of the key things.
Yeah, that's
So
the
we're
good part.
hoping- Yes, so we're hoping
That's the important part.
Yeah.
we're hoping that would encourage a lot of them, one, because of the day off from school, how many kids don't want a day off from school, but also they will be paid for their services. But hopefully this will be an educational lesson for them to learn about our legislative government, how it works, and also that it starts critical at the local level. So it ain't always about the presidential election, it starts with your local elections, who your senators are, who your legislators are in your district. So these are key things that we want to teach our young people working at the polls. So definitely looking forward to getting a date on the calendar. Dr. Poti, I will be reaching out to you, sending you all the additional information, and then hopefully we can move from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clinton.
Mr. Clinton, did Mr. Morella reach out to you?
If he has, I have not talked to him, so I don't think so. Do I need to reach out to Mr. Morella?
Yes, shortly after we had our conversation, I reached out to Mr. Morella.
Okay.
And I did ask him to reach out to you, but you can call him tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, he may not be readily available because, teachers are back and they're moving all over the place, but if you call and leave a message, he'll get back in touch with you because I told him that you would be calling him for this purpose.
Perfect.
Okay?
Do you need me to call you to Dr. Poti, or are you trying to get me to talk?
No, I'm good.
I feel like
Shutting that room before is how they're gonna go again.
Listen, Mr. Gunn, I've done everything you've asked me to do.
You have.
Thank you, Mr. Clinton. Okay, board, moving on. At this time, I'm asking for a motion to adjourn public comment.
Motion to adjourn public comment.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Gooden. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So at this point, Mr. Long, we want to move into the
Yes,
executive session?
I understand that the board desires to have an executive session. In accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, we will be entering into an executive session on August 28, 2024, approximately 8:15 p.m. Of the 9 exceptions, we'll be utilizing item 7, matters involving conflict resolution and in the context of board goal setting. So come under exception number 7. I would anticipate that it may be up to 1 hour of discussion. Hopefully less for those that have to attend, which is not me. And so we need a motion and a second.
At this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve by moving into executive session.
Motion to approve to move into executive session.
Moved by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Redden. Roll call, please.
Mr. Astor,
Yes.
Ms. Drayton, yes, Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Leander,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Stoll,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes,
Motion is carried.
thank you. Board members, at this time, we're recessing for executive session. Thank you all. Thank you all.